How's it going, everybody? Really quick video just to show you how to prick out tomato seedlings. It's a really simple thing, but it's just important to watch out for a few little things. So you might remember on St. Patrick's Day, the 17th of March, I sowed this tray of tomatoes and I had 4 varieties. I have Gardener's Delight, an old traditional favourite. I have Mountain Magic, which is supposed to be a superb tasting sort of newish variety. I have Honeymoon, again blight resistant, really good variety. And I have Tumbling Tom, which is a trailing type, so it can go in hanging baskets or on balconies. Doesn't grow upright, just trails down and has little cherry tomatoes on it. So 4 really good varieties. And at this point you'll see the original seed leaves. So they're basically the leaves now that are starting to change colour. They're going a little bit brown around the edges, and they will drop off now over the next week or so. And they're replaced by these true leaves. So these are, the true leaves that are going to be on the plant to the end. And it's at this stage now that we basically move them on to a bigger pot and to give them a chance to spread and to start filling out. And so how you do that is really, really simple. So I'm putting them into a 10 centimetre pot. Just fill it with multi-purpose compost, little hole in the middle. I'm actually putting a small bit of mycorrhizal into these, and I have 10 of each variety here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 9 of them with mycorrhizal and just going to do 1 without it, just to see if there's any noticeable difference. I suspect there will be. Mycorrhizal is a fantastic thing to add in, and I really wanted to do it here, particularly for the first year in the tunnel. Because it's new ground that I'm going into, there mightn't be that much, in terms of soil microbes and all that. I just want to build up all of that. So I'm adding mycorrhizal to the plants as I pot them on. And hopefully, as I say, that will continue through the plant. But out of them all, I'll leave 1 of each type that I'm not using mycorrhizal with, and just see if there's any noticeable difference. And as I say, I suspect there probably will be. So to start pricking out, basically, the whole idea, and it's not difficult by any means, just you have to be careful with a few things. Essentially, somewhere on the tray, get in underneath and sort of push up the compost and loosen it. Put your fingers in under the root zones and loosen them up. And when you've that done, you basically find the plant that you want to prick out. And what you ideally want to do is pull it out by the seed leaves, the original seed leaves, and not the true leaves and not the stems, if you can at all. So now ideally I do this with 2 hands. So that guy is loosened out now, completely loose, completely root. And I'm still holding him by the seed leaf, and you can see there's a really big root zone on it, and that's ideally what you're looking for. So you're bringing a lot of root with you, because this is going to get a little bit of a shock now as it goes into a new pot. So it's just to try and, I suppose, maximize the roots that you have already there and give it the best chance of growing and growing fast, because they'll all survive, to be honest, but it's just a case of giving them a chance to get going really quickly. So that's basically the root zone that you're looking for. You pop it into the hole that you've made in the middle of the pot, and then you put your 2 fingers, 1 on either side of the stem, on top of the root zone, and you just give it a little bit of a squeeze down, keeping it as upright as you can. They will be trained up along, a string as they grow, but the more straight you can get them and more centered you can get them here now, the better. Give it a good compact around, and that's basically it. And that's how you prick out your tomato seedlings. Now, as I said, that's in a 10 centimetre pot. I probably won't plant them out actually into the tunnel until coming towards the end of the May. So I will more than likely have to pot them on, move them on 1 more time before then. And the reason I'm so late going in here is that we always get late frost in May. I have net sides on the tunnel. So for me, I just need to kind of hold back until more or less the end of May before I go straight out into the tunnel, because frost at this stage, while I know you want to get ahead of yourself, frost at that stage just can do a lot of harm, because you have a lot of tender growth, because we've had warm temperatures, like even today. Last night we had -3 here, and now during the day we've a good bit of sunshine. The air is quite cold, but within the tunnel here, because of the sunshine, it's quite warm. So there's a sort of a false growth at this stage of the year, and we have to be really careful with that. But if you're in an area that you can get them out earlier, great. And that's, as I say, a really simple way of doing it. So that's how you prick them out. From there, I'm going to give them a little bit of a water today, And tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to give them a small bit of a feed with seaweed, and I'll just spray that onto them, and I'll give them a little bit on the root zone as well, and that will do a lot of things. It'll strengthen up the plant's cells. It'll also increase the root zone again, so I'm using lots of things now that really want healthy roots on this. And so, as I say, next day or two, give them a feed of seaweed, and then they'll fly on. But as I say, really simple. Don't get too bogged down on it, and don't worry too much about it. Just those main 2 points. Try not to touch the stem. Try not to touch the new leaves. It's the seed leaf. That's the one that you're going to pull out of. Get your fingers in underneath and basically loosen it all out and bring as much of that root zone as you possibly can. And then they'll move to that pot without too much of a big shock. When I pot these now, I will move them back into you see over here in the cloche area, so they'll still have heat. So it'll be like a double layer in here. You already have the roof of the tunnel, but then they're in a sort of propagation cloche as well. Now there is a heated mat in there. They won't go directly onto that, but they'll be in that area, so there'll be a little bit of heat build up under there because of that. So that'll keep them growing well and give them a good chance to get established now before I pot them on. That's been a video on how to prick out tomato seedlings. As I say, really simple. Don't get too bogged down on it. Give it a go, and remember a couple of little tips. And until the next time, happy gardening.